Hi there everybody, this is Melanie with Lost and Found and welcome back to my 5-day series. We're talking all about your booth business, if you're an antique mall or a flea market or some type of mercantile, and why you may not be seeing the profit that you want to see in your business. So we've already talked about 2 reasons why. One of them is about your location, and the second reason is about the items that you're selling. And so you can go and watch those videos. They're farther back in the feed. They were on Monday and Wednesday. And so today we're going to hit reason number 3. And I'm sorry I'm a little bit later than what I thought I was going to be coming on. But hey, it's better late than never, right? So yes. So reason number 3 about why you may not be seeing the sales or the profit or making the money that you want to make in your booth business. And this has to do with the feel of your space. And we dive into this a lot in my Booth Seller Bootcamp online course, which is opening up next week. But the part of this that I want to focus on today is you may have a space that is falling on one end of the spectrum here, where either it's way too full or it's way too empty, okay? You want to be somewhere in the middle here of this spectrum. It's a fine balance that you're looking to strike, and there is some flexibility in it, really. And some people are very minimalistic kind of with their booth, and they really curate their looks, and they don't have anything in there that doesn't fit their current theme or color scheme. That's totally fine as long as it's not empty. Some people are still more full with what they have in. They make every use of their space. They hang stuff on the walls. They hang stuff on the ceiling. They've got some stuff on the floor, and that's fine too. But again, you don't want to get too full, okay? So let's talk about first this whole idea of too full. I think we've all probably been in a space before where we can't get to what we want to look at, or we feel like if we see something in the corner that we want and we take it off, that like 5 things are going to fall off on top of us, right? We want to get to it. Or you're inside of a space and it almost feels claustrophobic, like they've, walled off the front of your space, and you have to kind of go in and there's shelves everywhere and stuff everywhere, and you kind of feel like you're afraid stuff is going to start falling on you, okay? So nobody wants to shop in a space like that. And when you're filling your space to that point, you may think, well, the more I have in there, the more people can buy, which is true, but you're probably putting off a lot of potential customers, people that just don't even want to look in your space. They don't even want to go in there because it just looks messy, it looks sloppy. Or if people do venture in there and they find something that they like, if they can't easily get to it or easily see the price tag on it, a lot of people just are going to move on, okay? You're asking customers to do a lot of work, to dig to find the prices on your stuff or to dig to get something out. You're asking them to do a lot of work, and you don't want to do that. You want to make shopping in your booth easy for customers. You want to have your prices clearly displayed. You want to have things easy to get to. You don't want them to have to unstack, 6 things to get to the one thing that they want. Listen, people are lazy. I am lazy. Right? I don't want to do that. I was in a booth just a couple weeks ago and I saw something really cool that I wanted in the corner. But there was a bunch of stuff on the floor that I had to kind of climb over to get there. And then when I got there, the price tag was not clear. It was probably taped somewhere on the back. And there was like 5 other things stacked on top of it. And I just said, I'm not that interested. I don't want to mess with that. Lori, that's totally right. Setting up your booth like that is looking at it, you're giving people that garage sale feel, or you're looking at it like a glorified storage unit. Again, like you're just putting stuff in there to store it, and you're not thinking about creating a good customer experience, okay? If you want to make it as easy as you can make it for people to get what they want to get to in your booth. And I see this a lot too with people that sell furniture. If you're a furniture painter and you're wanting to move into a booth to sell your furniture, please, please, please don't pile 10 more things on top of your furniture that you're trying to sell. Don't stack another piece of furniture plus 10 other things, because what happens is that beautiful piece of furniture that you painted, it goes missing and people don't even see it anymore. They see the table and the chair and the 10 other things that you stacked on top of it, okay? So if you're a furniture painter and you want to highlight your furniture, stage it in your space. Don't pile things on top of it to use it as storage, but stage it, okay? And there's a fine line in that. Plus that tends to damage your furniture that you've painted. It just doesn't showcase it in the best light, all right? So I want you to take an honest look at your booth and ask yourself the question, is there too much stuff in here? Is there just too much stuff in here? And if there is, take some of it out, all right? Take some of it out and rearrange what you have in there. And I really think there's some magic in that. You will start to see your sales. Things start to sell that have been sitting there for a while because all of a sudden people can get to them. So Tina, thank you so much for your kind comment. You guys are amazing and I'm so excited about everything that's been going on with your business. So thanks for watching. Okay, so that's kind of this extreme over here is you just got way too much stuff in there. And a lot of us are guilty of this, a lot of us, all right? And then we got this extreme over here, which I see a lot again with us furniture painters. People who you maybe have been painting furniture and you're moving into you want to start selling out of a booth space, or it's your first booth space and you just put your furniture in there, or you start and you know your space is not full. It's almost to the point of empty. And I'm not talking about like if you're starting out and you're building up your inventory, like that takes time and that's fine. I don't recommend going into debt and buying $3,000 worth of inventory to start your booth space. Like if you're first starting out and it's a little bit empty, and as you build up over your first 3 or 4 months, you add more stuff in there. That's totally fine. I'm talking about you've been in business for a while and you're not putting enough stuff in your space. Excuse me. Or you say, well, I only want to sell my furniture. I don't really want to sell anything else. So there's a couple of reasons why that's a problem. One, if you're just wanting to sell furniture, furniture sells slower than your other things, right? If you need to put what they call smalls in your space, you need to have smalls, which is other stuff, decorative items. And you need to have a range of prices, some really cheap things, some middle price things. Because every day people will show up and buy smalls, but it's not every day that somebody's going to come buy a piece of furniture. Okay, so you're not going to see as consistent sales if you only have furniture or big pieces in your booth. Second, if your booth is not full enough and is kind of empty, then here's what people can do. They can walk by the outside of it and glance at it, and before ever even walking into your booth, decide, there's not really anything in there I want to see. Does that make sense? You know, over here, it's like you're asking them to dig way too much. Over here, you're not asking them to dig at all. You're not asking them to come and look closer at anything because you have like 6 things sitting there and they can see them from the aisle and they can look at it and go, nope, nothing's in there that I'm interested in. You want to invite them into your space and give them a few things to look closer at or to look through a little bit. And so if your space is empty or is not full enough, then you're kind of letting them scan all of your inventory from afar and then decide to move on, right? So that's why I'm saying there's kind of this area in here where you want to be. You don't want people to feel claustrophobic and have to dig too much, but you don't want to let them just pass by and look at everything you have without inviting them in to have to look at a little bit closer at things. Does that make sense? You kind of want to be here in this middle point. And that means that you need to take time to think about your display and think about the things that you're putting in there. Put a little bit of thought and intentionality into it. If you've been running a booth business and you're not seeing the sales that you want, I'm really willing to bet that some of it is you're not being as intentional about it as you need to be. You're just kind of tossing some stuff in there. And I have been guilty of that. I get busy and I'm just like, throw it in there. And sometimes that works, but the best booths are intentional about what they have in their space, and it's planned and it's thought out. So Lori is saying that sometimes she has problems finding the proper smalls to fit in her booth. You know, Lori, it takes some experimenting. What do some other people have around you? What are some other things that go with your brand? kind of who you are as a business. And you know, you can have multiples of things. You can have just little certain things. They can be wholesale new things if that fits more with your brand, or they can be things that you find that are vintage finds. I love old books. I love silver plate pieces. I love white ironstone and china. Those are all things that do well for me. Small vintage art does well for me. All of those things kind of work. So, but having some smalls there is important. It is important because those are going to be the things that people will come into your booth to look a little bit closer at. And they'll be the things that people will buy on a daily basis to help keep your sales a little bit more steady. So there we have it. That's reason number 3. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I hope that these have been helpful for you if you're trying to run a profitable booth business. If they have been helpful for you, please share these videos with your friends. Let them know that we're doing them. And please join me in this spring session of the Booth Seller Bootcamp, which is opening up next Thursday. I'm so excited. Next Thursday, the doors open, and there's a link right above this in the description where you can see everything that you need to know about the boot camp, how it works, what the cost is, all of that kind of stuff you can see there. We're going to have it open next Thursday. It's going to be open for a few days. Doors are going to close, and then it's not going to open again until late in the fall. So if you want to be intentional, if you want to start seeing some profit from your space, then I hope that you join us for this spring's boot camp. And then I will be back after the weekend on Monday and Wednesday to finish this series and talk about our last 2 reasons about why you may not be making the money that you want to be making in your booth space and how you can fix it, what you can do about it. So everybody have a fantastic weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Thanks. Bye-bye.